What you're about to see shouldn't exist. Somewhere nearly 8 billion light-years from Earth, something unimaginably massive is racing through the darkness of intergalactic space. It isn't a star. It isn't a galaxy. And it isn't a comet leaving behind a glowing tail. Instead, astronomers discovered an enormous streak of newborn stars stretching across the universe like a cosmic scar. At the very front of this glowing trail appeared to be an invisible object moving at nearly 1,000 kilometers every second. At first, nobody believed what they were seeing. Because if the leading explanation is correct, Hubble may have captured one of the strangest objects ever found, a supermassive black hole that somehow escaped its own galaxy. But that creates an even bigger mystery. Black holes are supposed to destroy stars. So why does this one seem to be creating them? To answer that question, we have to travel billions of years into the past, to a place where two galaxies collided in one of the most violent events the universe has ever witnessed. The universe is filled with spectacular sights. Towering galaxies. Exploding stars. Invisible black holes. And clouds of gas so large they can give birth to millions of new suns. For more than 3 decades, one telescope has allowed humanity to witness these incredible wonders with extraordinary clarity. Orbiting nearly 340 miles above Earth, the Hubble Space Telescope has transformed our understanding of the cosmos. It has photographed planets around distant stars, measured the expansion of the universe, captured galaxies so far away that their light began its journey billions of years before Earth even existed. Yet despite all of Hubble's greatest discoveries, some of its most important findings have happened completely by accident. Scientists searching for one thing often stumble upon something entirely unexpected. And that's exactly what happened in 2023. A team of astronomers led by Yale University researcher Peter Van Dockum was studying a distant dwarf galaxy nearly 7.7 billion light-years from Earth. Their goal wasn't to search for black holes. They weren't hunting for strange cosmic phenomena. They were simply observing distant galaxies to better understand how they evolved over billions of years. Then something unusual appeared inside the images. At first glance, it looked almost like a scratch across the photograph. A remarkably straight, narrow line stretched away from one side of the galaxy. But this wasn't an imaging error. It wasn't a crack in the detector. And it certainly wasn't something inside our own solar system. This mysterious structure was real. And it was enormous. The strange streak extended for nearly 200,000 light-years. To put that into perspective, our entire Milky Way galaxy measures roughly 100,000 light-years across. This mysterious object was almost twice as long. Even more astonishing, the streak wasn't made of dust or gas alone. It contained millions upon millions of young, bright blue stars. Stars that had only recently formed. That immediately raised an important question. Why were all these stars arranged in such a perfectly straight line? Nature rarely creates straight lines on this scale. Galaxies spiral. Nebulae twist. Gas clouds drift chaotically through space. But this structure looked almost artificial, like someone had drawn a glowing line across the universe. The discovery immediately caught the attention of astronomers around the world. One member of the research team described it as something never before observed anywhere in the known universe. That wasn't scientific exaggeration. It was genuine astonishment. No existing model predicted anything quite like this. Naturally, scientists began searching for explanations. Perhaps it wasn't a streak at all. Could they simply be looking at a very thin galaxy from the side? Seen edge-on, galaxies can sometimes appear as long narrow lines. It sounded reasonable. Until they looked closer. The stars inside the structure were almost entirely young and blue. That's unusual. A normal galaxy contains stars of many different ages. Some are ancient. Some are middle-aged like our Sun. Others are newborn. But this mysterious structure appeared to contain almost nothing except extremely young stars. It looked less like an ordinary galaxy, and more like an active construction site where stars were still being built. That discovery ruled out the simplest explanation. Scientists had to keep searching. Perhaps powerful jets from a nearby galaxy were triggering star formation. Astronomers have observed something similar before. Some supermassive black holes launch enormous jets of energetic particles that travel hundreds of thousands of light-years into space. As these jets slam into clouds of gas, they can compress the material enough for gravity to take over. Eventually, new stars begin to form. Could this mysterious streak simply be another example of that process? Again, the idea sounded promising. But the evidence didn't cooperate. The shape was wrong. Instead of widening as it moved farther away, the structure became narrower toward its leading edge. That was the exact opposite of what scientists expected from a powerful jet. Once again, their explanation collapsed. Every answer created another mystery. Every possibility seemed to fail. As researchers eliminated one theory after another, they slowly began considering an explanation so extraordinary that few wanted to believe it. What if the object leading this enormous trail wasn't a galaxy at all? What if it was something almost impossible to observe directly? An invisible cosmic giant. A supermassive black hole moving so fast that it was literally leaving a trail of newborn stars behind it. It sounded unbelievable. After all, black holes are famous for one thing: destruction. They swallow stars. They consume gas. Their gravity is so powerful that not even light can escape. How could one possibly create life among the stars instead of destroying it? To answer that question, scientists needed far more evidence than Hubble alone could provide. Fortunately, another telescope was preparing to examine the mystery with sharper eyes than humanity had ever built. And what it revealed would completely change the story for years. The mysterious streak remained exactly that, a mystery. Hubble had revealed enough to convince astronomers that something extraordinary was happening. But it couldn't provide every answer. To solve this cosmic puzzle, scientists needed a telescope capable of seeing farther, sharper, and deeper into the universe than ever before. That telescope was the James Webb Space Telescope. Unlike Hubble, which primarily observes visible light, James Webb specializes in infrared light. Think of it as the difference between looking through a foggy window and suddenly having perfectly clear vision. Infrared light can reveal structures hidden behind clouds of dust and gas. It can uncover details invisible to every telescope that came before it. When James Webb turned its golden mirrors toward the strange streak of stars, astronomers hoped for clues. What they found was far more dramatic. At the very front of the stellar trail was a gigantic curved wave of compressed gas. Known as a bow shock, it looked remarkably similar to the wave that forms in front of a speedboat racing across a calm lake. Imagine standing on a beach. As a boat cuts through the water piles up in front of it before spreading outward. The faster the boat moves, the stronger the wave becomes. Scientists realized something similar was happening here. Except instead of water, the object was plowing through the thin gas that fills intergalactic space. Whatever was leading the trail wasn't drifting peacefully through the universe. It was moving at incredible speed. Measurements suggested nearly 1,000 kilometers every second. That's fast enough to travel from New York to Los Angeles in about 4 seconds. At those speeds, even the nearly empty gas between galaxies behaves almost like a fluid, creating enormous shock waves as the mysterious object forces its way forward. Then came another crucial clue. James Webb detected gas at the front of the structure glowing in unusual colors. To the human eye, space appears mostly dark. But by studying specific wavelengths of light, astronomers can determine what elements are present and how hot they are. The gas here showed signs of being heated to extraordinary temperatures. Something was violently compressing it. That compression was squeezing enormous clouds of hydrogen gas together. And whenever hydrogen clouds become dense enough, gravity takes over. The clouds collapse. Temperatures rise. Nuclear fusion begins. A brand new star is born. Suddenly, the impossible started making sense. The object wasn't creating stars directly. Instead, it was acting like a gigantic snowplow. Just as a snowplow pushes snow into large piles, this invisible object was pushing enormous amounts of gas ahead of it. Behind the shock wave, compressed gas cooled and collapsed into countless newborn stars. Ironically, one of the universe's greatest destroyers had accidentally become one of its greatest creators. But what kind of object could possibly accomplish this? Scientists considered every possibility. Could it be a rogue galaxy? The evidence didn't fit. Could it be a gigantic jet from an active galaxy? Again, the geometry was wrong. Could it be an unknown type of cosmic explosion? That theory also failed. Every alternative collapsed under closer examination. Eventually, only one explanation remained. A runaway supermassive black hole. Not an ordinary black hole formed from a dying star. A monster. Millions of times more massive than our own sun. An object so compact that it occupies less space than our solar system, yet contains the mass of an entire galaxy's central engine. For decades, astronomers had predicted that such runaway black holes could exist. Einstein's theory of general relativity suggested it was possible. Computer simulations supported the idea. But nobody had ever found convincing evidence. Until now. If the interpretation was correct, this black hole had escaped from the center of its galaxy and was racing alone through intergalactic space. But that immediately raised another question. How does something so unimaginably massive escape an entire galaxy? After all, galaxies are held together by gravity. The gravity of billions of stars. Billions of planets. Enormous clouds of gas. Even dark matter. Escaping such a system should be almost impossible. Unless something even more powerful had happened. To understand that, scientists looked not at the runaway black hole, but at the galaxy it appeared to have left behind. The host system looked unusual from the very beginning. Instead of one ordinary galaxy, astronomers found what appeared to be two ring-shaped galaxies locked together in a spectacular collision. From Earth, the system almost resembled the face of an owl. Two bright galactic cores looked like glowing eyes. A dense bridge of gas between them formed something resembling a beak. Astronomers affectionately nicknamed it the cosmic owl. But beneath its beautiful appearance lay unimaginable violence. Billions of years earlier, these galaxies had slammed directly into one another. Not a gentle encounter. A head-on collision. Entire star systems passed through one another. Enormous clouds of gas crashed together. Shock waves rippled across hundreds of thousands of light years. At the center of each galaxy sat something even more dangerous. A supermassive black hole. As the galaxies merged, gravity slowly pulled both black holes toward one another. Over millions of years, they spiraled closer. Closer. And closer still. Eventually, they collided. When two supermassive black holes merge, they release unimaginable amounts of energy, not as light, but as gravitational waves. You can think of gravitational waves as ripples spreading across the fabric of space itself. Like throwing a stone into a still pond. Except the pond is the entire universe. If those ripples are perfectly symmetrical, the newly formed black hole remains near the galaxy's center. But if the waves are even slightly uneven, physics predicts something astonishing. The merged black hole receives an enormous kick. Like a cannon firing backward. Or a rocket launching into space. That recoil can become so powerful that it ejects the newly formed black hole completely out of its home galaxy. For decades, scientists believed this phenomenon should happen. They simply lacked proof. Now, the evidence seemed to be staring directly back at them. The stellar trail pointed precisely away from the cosmic owl. The black hole's estimated speed matched theoretical predictions. Its enormous mass also fit perfectly with what astronomers expected from the merger of two supermassive black holes. Piece by piece, the puzzle was finally coming together. Yet solving one mystery only opened another. If one supermassive black hole could be launched across intergalactic space, how many others are wandering through the darkness right now? Could thousands of invisible giants be racing between galaxies, completely unnoticed? And if so, what else have we been missing? If this discovery is correct, it changes far more than the story of a single black hole. It changes how we think galaxies evolve. For generations, astronomers believed that supermassive black holes were permanent residents of their galaxies. Every large galaxy, including our own Milky Way, appears to have one sitting quietly at its center, acting almost like the galaxy's anchor. But what if they're not permanent at all? What if galaxy collisions can literally eject these cosmic giants into the darkness of intergalactic space? That possibility opens an entirely new chapter in astronomy. Scientists now believe the runaway black hole may not be unique. It may simply be the first one we've managed to recognize. Think about how difficult it is to find an invisible object in the vastness of space. Black holes emit no light. If one is traveling alone between galaxies, it becomes almost impossible to detect. RBH1 was only discovered because it left behind an extraordinary clue, a glowing trail of millions of newborn stars stretching across nearly 200,000 light-years. Without that trail, it would have remained completely invisible. That realization raises an astonishing possibility. How many runaway black holes have escaped their galaxies without leaving any visible footprints? Hundreds? Thousands? Perhaps even millions? No one knows. And that's exactly what makes this discovery so exciting. Astronomers have already identified several mysterious objects that might be wandering supermassive black holes. One intriguing candidate lies inside a galaxy known as J0437 plus 2456. At first glance, it appears to be an ordinary spiral galaxy. But careful measurements revealed something unusual. Its central black hole doesn't seem to be moving with the rest of the galaxy. Instead, it appears to be drifting through space at a noticeably different speed. Could it be another runaway giant? Scientists can't say for certain. Not yet. Then there's an even stranger mystery. Far beyond our cosmic neighborhood lies a massive galaxy cluster called Able 2261. Based on its enormous size, astronomers expected to find one of the largest supermassive black holes ever discovered sitting at its center. Instead, they found nothing. The black hole appears to be missing. Some researchers suspect it may have experienced the same violent gravitational recoil, launching it completely out of the galaxy millions of years ago. It's an extraordinary idea. But once again,
the evidence remains incomplete.
These mysterious cases remind us of an important truth about science.
Every discovery answers one question, while creating 10 new ones. Fortunately, humanity is entering a new golden age of astronomy. The telescopes of tomorrow will be far more powerful than those of today. NASA's Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope will survey enormous regions of the sky with remarkable detail, searching for unusual structures that previous missions might have overlooked.
Meanwhile, the European Space Agency's Euclid mission is already mapping billions of galaxies, creating one of the largest three-dimensional maps of the universe ever assembled.
Combined with observations from the James Webb Space Telescope and Hubble, scientists will have an unprecedented opportunity to search for more runaway black holes. Artificial intelligence is also becoming one of astronomy's most valuable tools. Modern telescopes collect unimaginable amounts of information every single day. Far more than humans could ever analyze manually.
Machine learning algorithms can scan millions of images, searching for faint linear structures, unusual shock waves, and hidden patterns that might reveal other wandering black holes.
It's entirely possible that within the next decade, astronomers will discover dozens of these cosmic runaways. Or perhaps hundreds. Each new discovery will help scientists understand how galaxies collide, how black holes merge, and how the universe constantly reshapes itself through unimaginable violence. Ironically, this story also teaches us something beautiful. Black holes have always carried a frightening reputation. They are often portrayed as cosmic monsters that consume everything around them. And in many ways, that's true.
Their gravity can tear apart stars. They can swallow entire clouds of gas. Nothing, not even light, can escape once it crosses the event horizon. Yet RBH1 reveals another side of their story.
Not because the black hole wanted to create stars. Nature has no intentions.
Instead, the very destruction caused by its incredible speed compressed enormous clouds of gas, triggering the birth of millions of new suns.
It's a reminder that the universe often creates beauty through chaos. The death of one generation of stars creates the ingredients for another. Galaxy collisions destroy familiar structures while giving birth to entirely new galaxies.
Even one of the most destructive objects in existence can accidentally become the catalyst for creation.
Perhaps that's one of the greatest lessons astronomy teaches us. The universe rarely divides things into simple categories of good or bad. Creation and destruction are often two sides of the same cosmic process.
Somewhere, nearly 8 billion light-years away, RBH1 continues its incredible journey.
Completely silent. Completely invisible. Racing through the darkness at nearly 1,000 kilometers every second.
Behind it, millions of newborn stars slowly illuminate the emptiness, leaving a glowing trail that may survive long after the black hole itself has disappeared into the vastness of intergalactic space. It is one of the strangest sights humanity has ever discovered.
Not because we watched a black hole destroy a galaxy,
but because we watched one accidentally become the architect of new stars.
And perhaps that's the most humbling part of all. Every time we think we've finally understood the universe, it surprises us.
It reminds us that even our greatest theories are only small pieces of a much larger puzzle. Somewhere out there, hidden among trillions of galaxies, countless mysteries are still waiting to be discovered.
Invisible giants continue their lonely journeys. Unknown worlds orbit distant suns. And phenomena we haven't even imagined are unfolding right now, beyond the reach of our telescopes. The universe isn't just stranger than we expected. It may be stranger than we are capable of imagining. And maybe the next extraordinary discovery is already hiding in a photograph we've simply forgotten to look at.